Hello everybody, welcome to Arun Church. Today we're going to continue our series on radical acts and we're up to Acts 11, radical encouragement. In our day-to-day lives, encouragement happens in all sorts of ways. In my household, it's usually my 4-year-old son encouraging his sister to get out of bed and go downstairs after lights out, or something along those lines. So we can be encouraged in both good and bad ways. So if you grew up in a sibling, you'll definitely know the latter. In Acts 11, we're following on from last week's radical inclusion. So Jesus had died for everybody and not just for the Jews, for they had received the Holy Spirit. Not just the Jews had received the Holy Spirit, but the Gentiles, which are the non-Jewish people, had also received the Holy Spirit. So church is at its exciting beginning, and the good news of Jesus is spreading across the countries, and churches are spreading everywhere. Barnabas is described in Acts 11 as a good man, full of faith and of the Holy Spirit. So Barnabas begins to travel to some of these churches, and it said he saw the good things that God was doing, and he greatly encouraged the people, reminding them to stay true to God. He also brought other people along with him to visit those churches, to teach and to support the people there. There are certain times in my life where I have been encouraged and it has transformed my life. When I think about what encouragement does for me, I think about 3 main areas of how I've been encouraged. So firstly, I think of those kind words, text messages or letters from people, and they make me feel seen and known. They remind me in my everyday life that I matter and that other people are thinking of me. Secondly, I think of those times in my life where someone has taken me aside and spoken encouragement into me, seeing something within me that I didn't know was there. And consequently, those times I have stepped forward into new areas that I had absolutely no intention of doing because it never even occurred to me that that was even possible. And finally, there are those times when things are really, really hard and you don't think that you can go on. But the people around you encouraging you and helping you keeps you going. Much like when you hear about in marathons when people put their names on their t-shirts just so the crowds can call out their names. Go on, Kat, you can do it, keep going. And those things spur you on just that little bit more to get you through. Encouragement is just a beautiful tool that we have in our hands, because when people have courage, incredible things can happen. Mia Geese was an incredible woman who helped hide Anne Frank and her family during the Second World War. And during an interview, after being commended for her remarkable bravery, she replied, "But even an ordinary secretary or housewife or teenager has it within them to turn in their own way to turn on a small light in a dark room." I'm humbled by her humility because what she did was extraordinary in my opinion. But I agree with her that one small act can have a huge effect. Hebrews 10:24 says, "Let us consider how we spur one another towards love and good deeds, encouraging one another." Being reminded of what courage can do, especially on this day, Remembrance Sunday, we can give our thanks and respects to all those who sacrificed so much, to those who lost their lives in frightening and undignified ways, to those who felt the pain of those deaths so raw and deep, to those who had to grow up too fast and face things that even adults shouldn't face, to those who faced the trauma of caring for the wounded, and to those who survived and carried the emotional wounds for the rest of their lives. We remember how much courage they must have had just to fight for our freedom today, freedom we often take for granted. We hope that we never have to have the same courage that they did, but in our freedom, we can use the tool of encouragement that brings so much hope and confidence and support to those around us to give them courage that they need to face the day. Because when we encourage, it helps those around us. But also when we encourage, it changes us. It's so easy to stand and criticise and critique. It's so easy to observe and judge. But Proverbs tells us that that only leads to crushing your spirit, whereas kind words bring life. So today, on Remembrance Sunday, let's honour those by bringing life with our words. Who can you speak life into today?